Good morning, Milinda Kakani. I'm giving my testimony as the Director of Youth Justice at Children's Defense Fund, California. I'm also Supervisor Holly Mitchell's appointee to the Probation Oversight Commission. I want to start by acknowledging that today is a rather monumental day and that the County of Los Angeles will be approving, if it hasn't already done so this morning, a $4 billion settlement as a response to the thousands of sex abuse claims filed against our probation department. $4 billion, an amount that far exceeds the recent Catholic Church's settlement, an amount that will likely never make any of the victims whole, an amount that should cause all of us to take pause and think about how we can better serve our most vulnerable young people. To your point, Senator Sayarto, it is abhorrent that we have rape in men and women's prisons. It's also abhorrent that we have rape in juvenile prisons. I recognize the myriad of opposition letters from probation departments and unions up and down California, but it's important to acknowledge that this isn't a statewide problem. This is an LA County problem, where probation chiefs have an average tenure of 2 years, where compliance with the DOJ settlement regarding the conditions of our juvenile hall is a near impossibility, where 30 officers were recently indicted for facilitating gladiator fights, and that too was just over a 6-month period, where we are currently operating a facility illegally because we cannot get enough staff to show up to facilitate anything that young people are entitled to, from religious services to classroom-based education. Frankly, we've been in a crisis in LA for far too long, throwing every county resource, approximately $500 million a year and counting, at the probation department. Following the death of Brian Diaz in 2023, a death due to an overdose, but also due to the fact that probation was not conducting safety checks as required by Title 15 regulations, a death that should have been the reason for all of us to see the humanity of our young people, even the ones who have caused unimaginable harm, but instead moved us into checklist compliance mode, once again ignoring the actual impact of these systems on our young people. As a commissioner, I make announced and unannounced visits to our juvenile facilities. There's one I will never forget. I often ask young people what they need when I go inside. One young person told me without skipping a beat, "Miss, we need a clock in here. It's hard to not know when the nightmare is going to end."
Please complete your thought.
Yes. A yes for Senate Bill 357 gives LA County the permissive opportunity to relieve the pressure on a failing and floundering department. It allows the Department of Youth Development to handle programming. It allows for a different department to support the placement or home finding of young people. It allows another agency to understand who a young person is and what they need to succeed, which is really the only answer to meaningful public safety.